Test 1, question 13. Which of the following statements is true?
Alright, so this problem asks us about the properties of perpendicular lines. So before we get into the properties of perpendicular lines, let's talk about what a perpendicular line is. So when we draw two lines, these lines can pass through one another. Okay? We call a set of lines that pass through each other at a 90-degree angle, that form a 90-degree angle, we call these perpendicular lines. Perpendicular. They're easier to see maybe when they're drawn directly horizontal and vertically like this, but this is also a set of perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines are opposed to something called parallel lines. So parallel lines are lines that form a perfect 180-degree angle between them, which is to say that they go on forever without ever touching. They go on infinity and will never touch each other. Next, we're asked to consider the properties of the slopes of perpendicular lines. So, recall that the slope formula, m is equal to delta y divided by delta x. This is the change in y over the change in x, or sometimes written as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Where x1 and y1 make up 0.1, and x2 and y2 make up 0.2. So these are 2 points. You can imagine them as 2 points on a graph, 2 points in a table. So now we're asked to consider the relationship in slope between two perpendicular lines. In order to better illustrate this, let us consider a graph. So now here we have a graph of the line y is equal to 3 over 2x. What we want to do now is consider each of the cases in the multiple choice question, that is to say opposite slopes, and opposite reciprocal slopes. First, let's consider opposite slopes. So for opposite slopes, if our original slope is written as 3 over 2, our opposite is going to be the same slope with a negative sign. So m is equal to negative 3 over 2. Let me go ahead and draw what that's going to look like for you using the same equation with no y-intercept, just changing the slope. So what we're going to do from the origin is go down 3 over 2. That gives us our first point. And then from the origin we want to go left 2, up 3. And this gives us our first point, these 2 points gives us our line, which looks like this, and this is just a rough sketch. But we can tell immediately this doesn't form a 90-degree angle, it's like maybe a 60-degree angle between the two of them there. So 60 here and like 120 there. Next, we want to consider reciprocal slopes. So reciprocal slopes, when we take the reciprocal, we flip the fraction. So if we start with 3 over 2, then we will go to m is equal to 2 over 3. Using a different color, if we start from the origin, if we go up 2 and then over 3, we get our first point here. If we go to the left 3 and down 2, we get our next point here. If we sketch our line going through, we get our graph here, and you can see there's a very narrow angle between the black and the blue line here, so that cannot be right angle, so they cannot be perpendicular. Finally, let's consider opposite reciprocal slopes. So opposite reciprocal simply means we combine these two features so that m is equal to 3 over 2. We flip the fraction and add a negative sign. So m is equal to 3 over 2 turns to m is equal to negative 2 over 3. And using a different color here, if we start from the origin, we want to go down 2 and then over 3. and from the origin we want to go up 2 and to the left 3. And if we draw kind of our sketch line here through the middle. Now this is just sort of a sketch, but we can tell that this does in fact form a 90-degree angle. We can say that perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes.
Thank you for watching this video. These math tutorials are based on the TSI Assessments Secrets study guide by Mometrix. You can find the 2016 version here or the 2020 version, which was updated based on the TSI 2.0 exam. If you would like to reach out to the instructor, you can reach out at the email on screen, or if you have general questions for Del Mar College Veterans Upward Bound, you can reach out at vub@delmar.edu or text or call the number on the screen. Finally, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.